Happy New Year! Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to my live stream. Today I am channeling collective messages, and I was just testing testing my chat if I could put chats in my chat, which is why can I type here? Is in my chats already. So good morning. Happy New Year. I hope that you had an amazing end to 2024. I hope you had a great New Year's Eve. Let me know who is viewing, who is here as you join. Put your name in the chat. And I will just set some intentions for today before we get started. So yeah, welcome. I'm Tara Joy, and first I want to thank you so much for being here on this first day of 2025. It feels really electric, the energy. So that's what I'm feeling right off. I felt it for the last couple of weeks, this excitement as we approached 2025. I am an energy intuitive, a soul guide, and I guide people to move energy within themselves, working through self-limiting beliefs, activating gifts within you, and bringing your dreams into reality. I truly believe that everyone has the gift of intuition, and the more open you are to it, the more it will come, and the more you work with it, the easier it gets. It will become effortless if you work with it day to day. Today, I'm going to be showing up as a conduit to guides, ancestors, galactics, past loved ones. And today's focus is channeling collective messages. So if you have a question about the beginning of 2025, then definitely ask it in the chat and I will bring through information related to that, but also collective information, because whenever we begin a new year, it's always great to get a little bit of insight on what's coming and what's ahead. So we're going to get into spirituality. And if you are into spirituality, crystals, meditation, learning about energy, you feel you're a starseed, if you believe in life after death, reincarnation, then you are definitely in the right space. We're going to be bringing in that higher dimensional energy down into this space in this container. So I am so glad you're here. As you arrive and get settled, let me know in the chat who you are, where you're viewing from. Let me know any insights that you might have that you discovered in 2024 and you're bringing into 2025. And let me know who's here for the first time, who's returning. And even if you see this as a replay, let me know in the comments on the replay. If you're viewing it for the first time, if you've come back, you've seen one of my lives before. And so before I start getting into the channeled messages and information that has already begun to come through for me, I set 4 intentions when I go live. They're really quick and it just sets the energy of the space. So the first intention is we want to make sure that this is a safe and sacred space. I'm connecting with energy and inviting guides in, and that means we're being vulnerable, we're sharing raw emotions. So I want to make sure that we're kind, loving, supportive, and caring to each other inside the chat with each other. And to me. The second out of the four intentions is that there is absolutely zero tolerance for bullying, bashing, belittling, and just any unnecessary comments. You do not need to fully understand or believe in what I'm doing, but you need to stay respectful to be able to stay in the room. The third intention out of the four is I want this to be a dialogue. So having that back and forth in the chat lets me get to know you. Let's us be more of a community and connecting our energy together. And I want to hear how you're feeling, and I want to know when something's resonating with you. So type it in the chat when something's resonating. And I want you to be engaging, because the more energy you put into this, the more you are going to get out. And the fourth and final is that I truly believe there's no coincidences. There is a reason why you're here today. There's a reason why you're viewing this replay if you're catching it after the live has ended. And whether you're here for a few minutes or the entire live, know that it is aligned and you are exactly where you need to be. Be open-hearted and open-minded about the information and messages you hear today, given that most of them are collective messages. Not all of it will resonate with everybody, because that's just the nature of collective messages. But take what resonates, and if you don't feel something is resonating, then it's not a message for you personally. And finally, there's a million other things fighting for your attention and energy, especially during this time of year when it's still that holiday energy, and we're transitioning back to normal routines in the next few days. So I'm so grateful that you've chosen to be here in this live. Again, there's a reason you're here. There's messages for each one of you, even if I'm answering someone else's question. There are messages here for everyone, and that goes with the replay as well. You might find this video and be watching it a few days later, a week later, and there's information and messages for you in this. And so please, while you're watching, comment, chat whenever you're watching, because it's meant for you the moment you see it. And so please be open to the collective energy and be open-hearted and open-minded. So thank you. That was my intention setting for today. And now I'm just going to get into some collective messages for what energy is coming in for 2025. And as I mentioned, as I was doing my intention setting, it's been coming in for the last couple of weeks as I was tapping into the energy of 2025 as today got closer. The messages started to come in, and there's something about multidimensionality that's very important for 2025. And this was the first thing that came in a few weeks ago. And how it was described and explained to me is very much that feeling of holding two emotions at the same time, because emotions are frequency and resonance. So when you're in different frequencies and resonances at the same time, you're actually experiencing that multidimensionality. And so when I first started getting information about multidimensionality, it was too big of a concept for me to grasp. And I totally didn't understand how me, in physical walking around my everyday life could be multidimensional. And so that's how they described it, as being these two emotions. That's an example, holding two emotions. So you can be grateful for something and also experience grief at the same time. So that's an example of the multidimensionality. So, yeah, I thought that was fascinating. And I felt it was an interesting way of helping the information come through. So hopefully that resonated. And yes, put in the chats where you're coming, like where you're viewing from, what your name is. And welcome. Happy New Year. How was your New Year so far? And I will get to more messages, channel messages. And if you have a question about 2025 and you'd like an answer, if you'd like a channeled message about 2025, please let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you would like to know anything. For people viewing live, okay, so what I'm also getting is this awakening. Like, we hear a lot about spiritual awakening, and all of us experience that in a different way, and all of us hold a different meaning to what that is. And so what I've been shown is that it's really getting to know yourself. So spiritual awakening is getting to know yourself at the soul level and taking away all of that conditioned thinking and really celebrating the soul essence of you. And it's also looking at the world with a different perspective. So that's why when people are experiencing these awakenings, then the job that you've been at forever, you might not feel as satisfied with it. You might not feel as aligned with the position as you used to be. You might find there's something else more satisfying that you want to do as a goal or reach for 2025. And so this is a collective happening that a lot of people are finding they're not as fulfilled as they used to be. And that's part of the awakening, part of the knowing your soul, part of getting more out of life, seeking joy, seeking excitement, what, like following that thread that really makes you happy and not listening to the naysayers and the voices that say that's impossible or you can't do it. Because every day we can step closer towards that dream. And sometimes it's always done for us, but it doesn't feel like it's happening for us. Sometimes it feels like it's happening to us. So keeping in mind that things that are taken from you are actually making room for what really brings you joy, what really brings you excitement. So an example is many years ago, I had a great job. It paid well, but I was not fully happy there. But because I was paid well, because I enjoyed the people I worked with, and I was fearful of change, fearful of doing something different and new, I stayed. And then I got laid off. So the universe did it for me. But at the time, it felt like it was happening to me. And that put me on this trajectory of totally shifting who I was and what job I did and how I made income. So it all stemmed on that one shift in happenings that was out of my control. So again, letting go of control is going to be a big theme for 2025. And trusting yourself is also a big one for 2025. Trusting that the more you know yourself, the more you know what to ask for, the more you know what's in alignment with you, and to go after those dreams, to go after what you want, because the universe is supporting us. And you'll see signs and symbols if you're open to it to support that. So those are a few messages for 2025. There's also the continued quickening of time. So if you've experienced, like, how are we at January 1st, 2025, when just yesterday it was 2020? Like, that's how it feels. Time feels like it's speeding up. And so something that's coming in about 2025 is that you can experience things at a more grounded and calm pace if you yourself slow down. And so I recognize that not all of us can meditate 8 hours a day, and that's not what I'm saying. But if you set an intention to sit for 5 minutes at the beginning of every day and bring in an intention for that, just 5 minutes, that can help set intentions and put things into the right energy. Well, not right energy, but put into a positive, optimistic energy every day for you. So, hello, Minnie Mouse, and hello, Ryan. Minnie Mouse asks, what does 2025 bring in for romance for me? So, I am doing collective, collective channels, but I can definitely ask, how does 2025 look for relationships? So let me ask that. Like, what is 2025 for relationships? And this is for the collective, for people who are joining us live. So thank you for joining live. And for anyone seeing the replay. So this is information for all of you that. So first is more soul family is coming to each of you. And I describe soul family as people who you meet and instantly feel you've known them for 20 years. You feel more connected to them than biological family. And some of them you don't have to explain or communicate with them in the way that other relationships are. So let me explain that a bit. So some people you need to be very detailed on communicating your emotions and what led to the emotions and working through things when things come up. Where soul family, they tend to just know. Um, and they tend to be able to identify things sometimes before you're aware of them. So it's almost like they're looking into your subconscious and saying, hey, are you struggling with something? Do you want to talk about something? And then you, with that invitation, you're like, oh, yes, thank goodness. I didn't realize, but yeah, I'd love to discuss something or work through something with you and just talk about it. Also, soul family, you work through big, big lessons together. Um, this is also like finding your tribe. So I've heard it described this way of like finding your tribe, finding your like-hearted group who has similar interests. So if you're into the paranormal, they are willing to talk about ghosts for hours, or UFOs, or Bigfoot, or all of those topics that you're interested in. And when it comes to love, I'm seeing 2025 is very much about self-discovery and how can each one of us hold kindness and compassion for ourselves the same way that we do it for the people who we hold dearest to our hearts. Because that's really, it's that expression of the energy you put out into the world finds its way back. And so sending that kindness and compassion out and also holding it for yourself brings that energy back. So let me know if anybody resonated with any of that in the chats. And if anybody else has a question about 2025 in general, let me know. I'll take a couple more questions. And as always, there are ways to get a one-on-one reading with me where we are in a private one-on-one Zoom where we can have a back and forth conversation and get more in detail with your question, or connecting with a past loved one, or helping discover where self-limiting beliefs are that can be shifted into unlimited beliefs of like optimistic outcomes instead of all of our fears coming up, which I have done a lot of work on myself. So welcome to anyone new who's just joining us. If you have any questions for 2025, put them in the chats. And I hope your 2025 is starting off great. It's very foggy where I am, which seems to be everywhere. If you've seen any social media in the past few days. And if there's no questions, I'll pull a dragon card for any last insights for 2025. And if you're tuning in later, put a comment on the video and I will follow the comments and respond to comments. Yeah, so 2025, what do we need to know? Fall 2025, we have, sorry, I hit the microphone. Dusty Pink Dragon from Andromeda prepares all your chakras to embody higher love, accept and radiate higher love, touch others with its flame. So that's some validation for the message about kindness and compassion for self and others, which is a running theme. It often comes up. And what I'm hearing is that our egos don't get involved when we operate from the heart space. So when we operate from the heart space, we're also operating from that pure light of the cosmos, if you want to call it that, of divine, of God, of source, however you want to word it. It's actually from the heart. When we operate from the analytical, the brain, that's when ego gets in, that's when the fears come up, that's when subconscious conditioning overrides things. So shifting to heart space and kindness and compassion is the way to go for 2025. So let me know if that resonated with anyone. And last chance for a question. And again, you can book one-on-one readings with me through the links in my profiles. Happy New Year. It's going to be a good year. If you are ready to receive is the caveat that they keep telling me. And when I say they, it's my spirit team, my guides. So thank you. Huge gratitude for everyone who popped in live, whether you're here for 1 minute, for the whole live. And yeah, I hope that your 2025 is amazing. Hello, Jolly James. Yeah, it feels like is the hardest part over? Okay, right away I'm hearing, why are you thinking it's hard? It's not meant to be hard. If you think it has to be hard to be worth getting, then it will be hard. So this comes to the your beliefs reflect what you see in reality. So if you're expecting it to be hard, then it will be hard. If you are expecting the struggle, then there will be a struggle. And so, and it also depends on what you define as hard. Like, what is the hardest part over? Well, there's always going to be more lessons. For example, I thought I was done my lessons for 2024, and I got a whopping one yesterday. Huge lesson came in yesterday. And I'm like, of course, okay. And it's also how you perceive if it happens to you or happens for you. So I can look at it as, that happened and woe is me. And now I'm back in a struggle. I'm back in the victim mentality. Or I can say, okay, something, you know, challenging happened. How am I going to look at that? I considered canceling this live today. And I'm like, am I going to let what happened stop me from doing something that brings me joy and gets me really excited and connects me with other people? No. I'm done that. So I showed up today. So there are going to be more challenges in 2025, but what I'm hearing and what I'm getting from my own spirit team is um, the more you trust your team and the more you trust the process, it'll be quicker. So, an example is if someone hurt me, say 10 years ago, I would hold that hurt for months. Even after we worked it out, I would just hold that hurt. Where now I'm able to let it go quicker. And so this is what I'm seeing for everyone. The challenges that you come across and how long they impact you is number one, it's up to you by how you view it and your mindset, but also that it's going to happen quicker. So big things are still coming, but it'll happen quicker. So hopefully that answered your question, Jolly James. I know it was a long-winded one, but that's how my guides work sometimes. And welcome, everyone. And I will do one more question if anyone else has a question that they want. And if not, I will say good day. Awesome. Thank you, Jolly James. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year. And welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm only able to be here because you're here. So welcome. Who is new? Who just dropped in? Does anyone have a question for 2025 that I can bring some answering for general for everybody who's viewing this, for everyone who's viewing it after in the replay? And if any of these have resonated with others, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. We're doing it. It doesn't mean every day will be amazing, but it will be worth it. That's what I'm hearing right now. And they're showing me the graph I usually use it when when awakening, which I was talking about. Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep hitting my microphone. When people are awakening, there's the highs and lows. So you start here. And then you get this big boost of oh my goodness, what I thought was true isn't, and everything's different, and I don't know. And then you go back down, and here you're oh, I'm taking 5 steps backwards, and then you go whoop again. And this is growth in anything, right? A skill, a hobby, you just learn to knit, and you're I can do a whole row. And then it's like, oh my goodness, I can't do a sweater. And then, oh, I can do a sweater, but I can't do the other thing. So overall, it's up. But when all you can see is this blip, you're like, I'm not where I was yesterday. And so I feel like I'm regressing, like I'm not where I was yesterday. Yeah, the journey definitely isn't linear. I love the one that's like, you know what I'm drawing right now with the sound. So it's more like this, right? Where you're like, okay, I think everything's linear, and then you're like, blah, 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 blah. I love those. I've seen so many memes with that. So yeah, that's how I'm seeing collectively the energy for 2025 is that big rises, but then it's gonna go back. Yeah, big rises and then it's gonna go back. And there's definite times where you're going to feel like, I don't know what's going on. What is reality? How does this relate? How do I get through this? But that's also why we're all finding our soul tribes and finding those individuals who share beliefs that we have, that many of us don't have those connections in our personal lives, which is another reason that I go live and do these beautiful events where we connect, because where do you find? Yes, you do start thinking you're going a little bonkers because you don't think like everybody else. And there is a stigma in society that if you believe in these things, then you are delusional or not smart enough or uneducated, insert all of the things, when in reality it's like, no, you're just getting information from your innate source, and we're conditioned not to trust it. And so I've had all of those feelings, I I had to find my own tribe when I started believing in all of these things. But thank goodness for having these topics become more mainstream, because in the future, I feel people will be seeking this out more so than the logical, analytical. Science always has a place, and I believe in science, but science doesn't have all of the instruments to measure what's possible, right? Any other daily practices that you can suggest to go along with starting your day with intentions? That's a great question, Ryan. I think having those daily rituals really helps stop the mind from going into what I call that rabbit hole of unraveling and becoming anxious. So I have a history of anxiety, a history of worry, and it kind of led me to the path that I'm on now, because I got so frustrated and angry with being so anxious all the time and fearful of everything. So it's great to have some daily practices that could be just when you find yourself in that narrative of negative self-talk or negative outcomes, because that's natural. What's happening is our um, our subconscious or actually it's our conscious, our consciousness is trying to protect us. So when you get into those fearful thoughts, it's like, oh, because I'm going to get up on stage, people will make fun of me. They won't listen. They'll laugh. I'll forget what I'm saying. I'll be embarrassed. I'll feel shame. So your conscious logical mind is trying to protect you, where your heart energy is like, go up on stage. Your voice needs to be heard. Your story needs to be heard. What you're communicating is important. So, when you're in that negative self-talk, negative thinking, just stopping and taking a few breaths, and even just saying the words, I'm safe in my body. I'm safe in my body. I am safe. I'm safe in my body. Because everything can become a perceived danger to us if we connect into that fear energy that's in everywhere. Yeah, so just taking a few breaths and saying, I'm safe in my body, I'm safe. I'm safe in my body, I'm safe. And this has helped me many, many times. Also, doing a meditation at setting intentions at the beginning of the day, and then setting intention and meditation at the end of the day, or doing like a little recap of, I set the intention of this. How did I witness it play out? And then reflecting on that. And over time, you'll notice that it will shift your whole energy just by doing it day to day. And an easy, great way to start is that gratitude, because gratitude is the energy of love. And when you're grateful for what you already have, the universe will send you more good things. Even if your perception is, I don't have any money in my bank account, everything's not going well. Well, it's like, okay, I have, for speaking personally, I have a roof over my head. I can have a hot shower every day. I have a comfortable bed where I can rest every night. I can have a hot cup of tea when I wake up in the morning. So, and making a ritual also, like usually I just get up in the morning, have a cup of tea, sit usually with one of my cats, because as soon as I get up, they're up, and one of them has become very much a lap cat as they got older. And so usually I'm sitting there just feeling this immense gratitude that I have a cup of tea and this beautiful cat showing unconditional love, not caring about anything except being there in that moment. And so that brings everything else to that moment, and all of the worries and anxieties just sort of float away. It doesn't mean they don't come back, but in that moment, they just float away. And it kind of puts you in perspective of, do I need to put energy into that worry? Is it a worry that I need to be worried out at this moment? And that's where that expression, oh, that's a Monday problem, or that's a future me problem. I love that expression, because it's like, oh, that's a future me problem. When you're like, oh, I have to make a deposit on this or pay that bill. Oh, that's a future me problem. Right now, I'm in this moment. Let's be in this moment. So hopefully that helped. Again, very long-winded, but that's how I find that's also how general readings are. When it's a personal reading. It's very to the point, and sometimes it's 10 seconds. So welcome everybody. Thank you for being here live. If these resonate with you, let me know in the comments. And I am available for one-on-one readings. And I have one. I'm just gonna share it in the chat. I have one. Amazing. Thank you for the feedback, Ryan. I have one that's going until it's what it needs to be. Exactly. You get the assignment. Yes. So I'll see if this works. Yes. So it was shared on YouTube, not Facebook. So I will share it on Facebook after the live. But this is a New Year channeled reading. This came in earlier in December, and it's a little bit of everything in one reading where we look into Akashic Records, we look into what is in your subconscious that's ready to let go. What beliefs do you have that you feel are true that are ready to shift? And then there's some star language. I haven't done star language in a live in a while, but star language is light language. Sometimes it's speaking in tongues, that sort of thing. And there is some star language in this reading for activating the new energy that's coming in for 2025 and beyond. So if that interests you, then I would love to connect with you and do a one-on-one reading. And if not, no worries. Like, we're here live together right now. So if anybody has any more questions, let me know. And if not, we will go enjoy this portal day of 1/1, which is when the day and the month are the same number. So 1/1, 2/2, 3/3, 4/4 are all portal days where the energy is more intense, your intuition is stronger, you'll get messages from spirit, you might notice synchronicities are stronger. Okay, wow, thank you. Immense gratitude for everyone for being here live. Whether you're here for 5 minutes or the whole time, I so appreciate you. Even if you didn't communicate in the chat, thank you. Your energy is felt, your energy is needed in the world, and you're deserving. Everyone is so deserving and worthy of what's coming in 2025 and beyond. I'm so excited about the possibility and opportunities that are ahead. And yeah, it's an amazing time to be alive. So immense gratitude to you. Again, if you're watching the replay, comment, chat, let me know what resonated with you. And until hi Danielle, I am just finishing up, but you can catch the replay on all of the information I shared. And yeah, thank you. And remember that the magic isn't outside of you. The magic isn't out there. The magic is you. So until the next live, gratitude and love to you all. And if you would like to reach out for a one-on-one reading, you can do so in my profile links. So have an amazing beginning to 2025, and I will see you